So we're going to start by doing a baked vegetable, and we're going to have that over some greens. And I did not bring a salad dressing specifically because I wanted you to be able to taste the vegetables and how simple it is to flavor them up and how yummy they are. But I do like adding in little greens anytime we get a chance to, and that's a nice way to do it, is sprinkle just a bed of greens underneath your mixed vegetables, and you can even put salad dressing on it if you wanted. So I say let's get started. Let's do it. So I know if you guys look at your packets, we've got baked mixed vegetables right to begin with, which is awesome. And I am going to add a little bit to it because, like I said, I had some things in my fridge that looked good, and that's kind of how you should cook. So you should be filling your refrigerator, having a complete stock, be ready at all times, lots of fresh produce, and sometimes you even want things already pre-chopped just so that when you get home you can throw something together and you're ready to go. Because particularly, can I ask how many of you are intending to do the cleanse? Awesome. Guess what? I am too. I'm so excited. This will be my third time doing it, and third time doing it, and I'm looking forward to slimming. I'm thinking I'm going to slim down, and I'm really, really looking forward to that increased energy and vitality and the healthy skin and the whole bit that comes from it. So to be prepared and be successful, the more that you can have in your refrigerator chopped up so that you can just throw it in the pan or throw it in the pot, the more successful you'll be with this cleanse. Because when you're hungry, you want something now. And you might be apt to cheat if you don't have something easily that you can just put together. So some of the things that you could do for this is have pre-washed vegetables in your refrigerator. You can even have things pre-chopped and ready to go in a pan later. Okay?
Do they last as long as unchopped when they're...
They will last a few days, of course, but yes, if you start chopping things up, then the air is going to get to it and they'll deteriorate faster. But you can leave them in the refrigerator for a few days, in a nice container. They've got lots of these. These are supposed to be disposable, which I think is ridiculous. I use them over and over again. But you could get different sizes and pre-cut some things up, and I'm going to talk to you about different ways that you can use them too. So maybe we're doing these baked vegetables, and we do a little mini container of it now, and we're going to do baked vegetables tonight. But 3 days from now, we're going to throw it in a broth, a vegetable broth or a chicken broth, depending on where you're at in the cleanse, and we're going to have a soup. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through what I'm going to teach you today. Okay, well, let's get started. So we have, we're going to start with the basic veggies, and you can kind of go with whatever you have in your refrigerator. I really love asparagus. I think they're a unique flavor, and they make you think you're getting something really special. So I like adding that in with my baked veggies. I always cut off the ends because they're kind of wooded and harder. When asparagus grow, they grow up out of the ground like this, and they push through. And the farther up they grow, this part starts to turn into the seed, and eventually it'll come up and it'll be like a pretty fern. So when you're picking your asparagus, you notice the difference in these two. You want the ones that are closer together and firmer instead of the ones that are starting to seed, because they're going to be a lot sweeter, not as bitter, and not as tough. Because as this grows up, it's starting to seed, and this part starts to turn wooded, and then this part is getting fed all the nutrients and turning into seed so it can reproduce. So that's why sometimes you get asparagus and they're kind of not so good and maybe a little bit hard. Just take a look at your tips, and as long as they're nice and closed in, you should have a good selection. For this, I'm going to just chop some really easy, like 1-inch pieces. And you would throw that into your baking dish, or if you're preparing this ahead of time, into your container, if you're doing a little food prep. Next thing you're going to do is add in some squash. I love the yellow crookneck squash, and I do have to admit, because it's wintertime and these are not seasonal right now, so this is organic, but it came from Mexico probably. It did not come from local, because right now it's a bit too cold to be growing them. But when you're doing this, you're just going to cut it down the side, and I like to cut things at an angle. There's just something about having something that's pretty cut and it's easy that makes you think you're getting something a little more special than what it is, which is just yellow crookneck squash. We also have some zucchinis, and so we're going to chop that up and put that in there. But let me get this one chopped up first. Notice I like to pre-cut down the center. I like saving time when I'm in the kitchen. So if I'm going to quarter or chop anything up small, I'll go ahead and chop it lengthwise first. And then I've got nice quick strokes to get the rest of it done. Who's all for getting in and out of the kitchen fast, right? We're all really busy. Yes, me too. Less dishes, get me out of there, I got stuff to do. Okay, so we're also going to add in some onion. And I think red onion is really pretty. Not only that, but it's got more nutrients than the other white and yellow counterparts. And it's kind of because you have to follow that whole theory of the darker the vegetable, the better it is for you. It's got more nutrients, more whatever it is that's in there, it's good stuff. For the onion, we're just going to make some nice chunks. And I don't know why, but you see how you can follow this ridge and you kind of get like a half circle? Or you can go against it this way and end up with, I don't know, like a teardrop shape. I kind of like cutting my onions when I bake in that direction because I just think they're prettier. And if you don't want big chunks, you can cut it in half again. Next, we're going to add in bell pepper, and that's not on your list, but look how pretty this bright red bell pepper is, and it's going to make this look beautiful, and we're supposed to be eating all the colors of the rainbow. So, and once again, the red bell pepper, yes, they are a little more expensive than the greens, but it takes longer for them to get to this color. And they have more nutrients. They're on that vine a little bit longer, or on the plant a little bit longer. When you're thinking about the cost of buying organic produce, I would like to have you think of this. A lot of people think that the reason why they're buying organic is because they are getting away from pesticides that are sprayed on their produce. And that's a good thing to do. You don't want to eat those, so we wash them off, and it's better to buy a product that doesn't have that for sure. Better for the planet and better for you. But what a lot of people don't think about is how that vegetable or fruit is being raised and what it uses to feed. And so if we're spraying pesticides on our plants, then the pesticide residue is getting on the plant and in the soil. And then what happens is that the varmints that come by, the bugs and the worms and things that come by and poop and eat some of the things that are around, are not feeding that plant anymore. The worms can't be there because of the chemicals, it'll kill them. So now the soil is actually being depleted and not able to feed the plant as well as if the chemical hadn't been sprayed. So when you are eating organic and you're paying a little bit extra for that, you're also paying for all the nutrients that I think our Creator put in there to just be there to fuel you. So you're getting more food, even though it's the same size and sometimes even less, you're actually getting more usable food out of organic product than you are non-organic. So keep that in mind when you look at the different pricing and you're thinking, I gotta budget it this way. It's really an investment in your health, and it's well worth it beyond not having to deal with chemicals on your plant or on your vegetables and fruit. Okay, so this is all chopped up. Now we're going to add in some garlic, and for those of you that have been to my classes before, you guys know I love garlic, right? It's going to be in just about everything. It is a great way to spice up and flavor your food. I have a really poor cutting board today, but if you can have a flat surface, and as you guys saw, I just kind of bruised my garlic. It peels really easy. So you just kind of bruise it to get the peel off. And then you can either mince it and throw it in, or you can slice it nice and thin. And again, you're just going to kind of go at a slight angle and chop nice thin slices. The key to chopping is just being careful that you keep your fingers away from being under the blade. And I've made the mistake of not doing that, and it hurts. You lose part of your finger. It's not cool. All right. So once you slice it, you're going to want to get your fingers a little sticky and dirty with it, or you can mush it around on your breadboard if you don't want to get your fingers in the garlic to have them smell like garlic. Now, this is how easy seasoning can be. Rosemary's not on there, but if you happen to have fresh rosemary growing, Fantastic, throw a little bit in there. I love rosemary. So you're just gonna strip it down. See how those leaves just come right off? And you're gonna do maybe about a half a teaspoon. It's a pretty strong herb, so you don't need a lot. And then you're gonna mince the rosemary. And it doesn't have to be small, but just enough to bruise it and release the oils that are in there and all the flavor. Plus, it's a little bit more pleasing to the palate because you don't want to be chewing on this big, big leaf of rosemary. So that goes in. Now, this is how simple it can be to flavor up stuff. This is going to be going into the oven, so I am going to give it just a touch of olive oil, about a teaspoon, and then you can even do a little bit more if you like the added flavor and moisture, anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon. And then we're going to add in some steak rub. And here's the thing, everybody thinks steak rub, that's for steak. No, it's not. It's for anything. I love this on salads. That's a great tip for you guys when you're eating lots of salads on your cleanse. You're eating lots of greens, and sometimes you're going to just maybe sprinkle some lemon juice over it. I'll bring some lemons in. Remind Ken, if I don't, to say, hey, your wife said she'd bring some lemons in. We've got this amazing Meyer lemon tree that's so juicy and so good. I'll take a lemon and squeeze it over my salad and a little steak rub. And what's nice is the Harvest Blend steak rub, which is my brand of steak rub, it's got cumin in it. And cumin has a really neat flavor. So it's kind of like a nutty flavor to it, a peppery, nutty flavor. And cumin is really good for you. So it's got cumin, it's got onion and garlic in there, and salt and pepper. So you could just use it as, like something over the table if you wanted. So we're going to sprinkle a little of that. About a tablespoon is great. And you're basically just going to stir it up and stick it in your oven. Now, you could leave it marinating if you wanted to, right? You can put it in the fridge. You could have not put seasoning on it and had those vegetables, and like I said, in 2 days from now, just warm up some broth and throw them in the broth, and then you have a soup, right? A really simple soup. So this would go in the oven, and I would bake it at 350 for about 20 minutes. You want everything to be crispy tender. They're gonna lose a lot of moisture, and that moisture in the pan is gonna heat up, and it's going to cook the vegetables, not just the heat around it, but it's gonna be steaming it as it cooks. So I will show you what that's going to look like when you cut it out of the oven. What I would do is I would stir it at least once halfway through it. But generally what I'll do is I'll let it cook for 10 minutes. I'll set the timer and then I'll stir it, and then I'll check it another 5 minutes and then another 5 minutes again, because I don't like it to come out soggy. So let's take a look and see what that looks like coming out of the oven. Any questions on that? Pretty simple, huh? When you're doing this cleanse and when you're eating vegetarian and clean and mostly raw and lightly cooked food, oh my gosh, it's so easy to prepare stuff. The main thing is just have it on hand because you're going to get hungry quick. All right, so when it comes out of the oven, it's going to look like this, right? Nice, pretty colors. We've got some juices going in there. You could keep that and put that into a soup. And the flavor is really, really good. In fact, I made this for our friends' get-together last night, and everybody was like, what did you put on? What's in the vegetables? I'm like, vegetables and steak rub. That's pretty much all it is. So I'm going to reheat this only slightly for you guys because we want to taste it. Now, can I have a plate up here? Maybe just a few little simple plates would be great, because I forgot to bring those in. So that's another thing. If you are baking and you're going to use this for more than one night, you might want to not cook it very long at all, maybe only 15 minutes, so that the majority of it's done. But then the next day, if you put it in your fridge, you want to heat it back up on the stove top. You can, and it's not going to get soggy and overcooked. And it's still going to, what's that?
You can eat it cold too.
You can eat it cold, absolutely. You've got leftovers that you could put on your salad. Yeah, you guys are going to start smelling how amazing this is going to taste. Thank you. And just a bit.
Throw it in the microwave?
You can. I do not have a microwave, John. It's one of those things that we gave up. We did some research on it, and when you cook in the microwave, it changes the molecular structure of that, whatever it is that you're making, even water. So I haven't used a microwave in 10 years. But yes, of course you can. And or you can throw it on a stovetop, or you can put it into the oven for a brief time. Yeah. Make sure we're heating up. Oh, good, we are. So I'm just going to give this a little toss, and we will start. You guys can start smelling it up front, huh? Really yummy. So let's think about some other things that you could put in here. Well, you could put eggplant, you could put broccoli, you could do carrots. Carrots are a little more dense, and so they might take a little bit longer to cook. Or what you could do is slice them thinly so that they cook faster. You could put some root vegetables in there if you wanted. Remember, root vegetables are a little bit more starchy, so you don't want to, what's that?
I love mushrooms.
Mushrooms would be great, yeah. You know what's good too, and it's something I hadn't thought of until this last year, is beets. Beets are good in with mixed vegetables too. They add a nice sweetness. I really like the orange beets particularly. They're not as earthy flavoring. They're still sweet, but the red ones seem a little more, almost like you can taste soil in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They taste exactly like dirt.
Yeah, I don't think they taste like dirt. I think they're...
They do.
All right, Judy, maybe to you.
Never could.
Well, I'm going to have to make you some beets. I'm going to have to make you some beets. I've got, if you guys look on my website, look for the roasted beets and arugula salad. One of my favorite ways to eat beets. And you don't like arugula either? Man.
No, it's tough.
I'm going to have to, I don't know, I'm feeling
Try to
challenged with
convert
that
me.
one. Yeah, for sure.
What about parsnips? Would you
Parsnips would be
turnips?
great, yeah. Yeah, so be creative, have things fresh and available in your refrigerator, and you're going to be super successful on eating clean and staying lean, as we're saying, eating clean and staying lean in 2015. Okay, this is just about heated. So next what I'm going to do is just again show you just quickly how you can add in a little bit more greens. I love this. This is called a power blend, and it's got all different types of deep greens in here. Let's see if I can see what's in here. So this has, it's mostly organic baby spinach, but then it's got red and green chard and baby kale. And I thought I saw arugula in there, but maybe it's just how the kale looks. Can I take it out for you? Yeah. Yeah, well, it doesn't say it's got it in there, so this must be just a separate type of kale, baby kale. But anyway, when you can get these, you know, at the supermarket now, you can get chopped kale, you can get all kinds of fresh baby greens, baby spinach, and this is really super easy and convenient. I would recommend having that on hand at any given time.
What's it called again? Power?
It's a power blend. Yeah. Here, there you go. Okay, so this is heated up, and you can also use that blend in your smoothies, which is going to be nice because you guys are going to make lots of shakes and smoothies on the cleanse. Okay, so can you guys smell how phenomenal this is? You got the garlic coming through, really great. So I love the variety of color in here. So it's pleasing to the eye, and the vegetables, again, they're just crispy tender. Now because I've been traveling, these are still even a little bit more cooked than I would like to have them at home. So just keep in mind, again, if you're going to be reheating or anything like that, you want them to be crispier versus soggy. Don't overdo it. Don't overcook them. Some tips on that: you can change up flavor. What about taco seasoning on it? What about a little Italian seasoning over it? How about curry? Little yellow curry? Ooh, that would be kind of yummy. So just keep in mind, simple basics: steamed, baked, fried, lightly cooked vegetables, quick dash of seasoning, and you're good to go. Any questions on that one? You could add red potatoes, but keep in mind that potatoes are starchy. So, and when we're doing the cleanse, actually, during holidays, Mom, I did put red potatoes. Do you remember that? Red potatoes in there. But for the cleanse, I would not. You could use a sweet potato. I think sweet potatoes are okay to have on there. Any other time, I would say yes, put a little red potato in there. That would be great.
I'm not going to go cleansing because I lost 65 pounds in the last week.
Yeah, I don't think you need to lose, definitely don't think you need to lose weight. However, I can tell you that cleansing isn't just for losing weight. It's to purify your body. I mean, think about all the toxins that we come into. Ken and I eat out. We don't always control everything that we have at home. And then sometimes we have times where we have vacation meals. So, I mean, you can't possibly, in today's age, unless you prepare everything and grow everything yourself, think that you haven't had a genetically modified food product or pesticides, or, you know, think about the chemicals and things in the air and the plastics that are around us all the time. So cleansing yes, there's a nutritional program that's involved in that as well, but it's meant to pull toxins out of your body. So we're getting leaner because a lot of us are changing the way we eat and having to have a better habit of health while we're in the cleanse, right? But for sure, the product that goes along with it is going to be pulling out toxins out of your body. Those first few days, you guys are going to really notice a change. And towards the end of it, you're just like, oh, I feel so much better. It's awesome. Okay.